Hello, dear friends, and welcome back to Golden Years Unplugged. I'm so grateful you're here with me today as we talk about a topic that's close to my heart, but one that can be hard to discuss: the signs that an elderly loved one may be nearing the end of their life within a year. I know this is a sensitive subject, and my heart goes out to you if you're facing this with someone you love, or even if you're reflecting on your own journey in your golden years. My hope is that this video brings you comfort, clarity, and a sense of preparedness, because understanding these signs can help us provide the best care and make the most of the time we have left together. When my dear father was in his final year, I noticed changes in him that I didn't fully understand at the time. Looking back, I wish I'd known more about what to look for. It would have helped me support him better and cherish those precious moments even more. That's why I'm sharing this with you today. Recognizing the signs that an elderly person may be approaching the end of life isn't about giving up hope. It's about empowering ourselves to make their remaining time as loving and comfortable as possible. It's about preparing our hearts and ensuring they feel surrounded by care. Today, we'll explore 3 key signs that may indicate an elderly person is within their final year. First, we'll look at a significant decline in physical health and energy, such as extreme fatigue or unintended weight loss. Then we'll discuss changes in cognitive function and social withdrawal, which can signal a deeper shift. Finally, we'll talk about an increased need for medical care and symptom management, often a sign that the body is slowing down. I'll also share ways to respond to these signs with love and support, so you can help your loved one or yourself feel at peace. I'm not a doctor, so please consult with a healthcare professional for guidance, but I hope my experiences and research can offer you some comfort and direction. Let's begin with the first sign: a noticeable decline in physical health and energy. The first sign that an elderly person may be in their final year is a significant decline in their physical health and energy. I saw this with my father in his last months, and it was one of the clearest indicators that his body was slowing down. This decline can show up in several ways, and while it's normal to slow down a bit as we age, these changes are more pronounced and often happen over a short period. They can be hard to watch, but understanding them can help us provide the right care and make the most of the time we have. One of the most common signs is extreme fatigue. Your loved one might sleep more than usual, struggle to get out of bed, or feel exhausted after even small tasks, like eating a meal or taking a short walk. For example, my father used to love tending to his garden, but in his final year, he'd nap for hours after just a few minutes outside. Another sign is unintended weight loss. If they're eating less due to a lack of appetite, or if their body isn't absorbing nutrients well, you might notice their clothes fitting more loosely or their face looking thinner. Frequent illnesses like colds or infections can also become more common because their immune system isn't as strong. I remember my father catching a cold that turned into pneumonia, and it took him much longer to recover than it used to. Other physical signs include increased frailty. Maybe they're having more trouble walking, or they're at a higher risk of falling. You might also notice they're not as interested in grooming or daily routines, simply because they don't have the energy. If you're seeing several of these changes together, it could be a sign that their body is preparing to rest. So how can we respond? First, talk to their doctor to understand what's happening and explore comfort-focused care, like palliative care, which prioritizes quality of life. Make their environment safe and cozy, add pillows to their chair, keep their space warm, and help with small tasks like eating or bathing. Most importantly, be present. Sit with them, hold their hand, and let them know they're loved. These moments mean so much. Let's move on to the next sign: changes in cognitive function and social withdrawal, which can tell us a lot about their journey. Other physical signs include increased frailty. Maybe they're having more trouble walking, or they're at a higher risk of falling. You might also notice they're not as interested in grooming or daily routines, simply because they don't have the energy. If you're seeing several of these changes together, it could be a sign that their body is preparing to rest. So how can we respond? First, talk to their doctor to understand what's happening and explore comfort-focused care, like palliative care, which prioritizes quality of life. Make their environment safe and cozy, add pillows to their chair, keep their space warm, and help with small tasks like eating or bathing. Most importantly, be present. Sit with them, hold their hand, and let them know they're loved. These moments mean so much. Let's move on to the next sign. Changes in cognitive function and social withdrawal, which can tell us a lot about their journey. The second sign that an elderly person may be nearing the end of their life is a noticeable change in their cognitive function and a tendency to withdraw socially. This was one of the hardest things for me to see with my father, because he'd always been so sharp and loved being around people. When these changes started, it felt like we were losing a part of him, but understanding what was happening helped me support him better. These shifts can be emotional, but they're often a natural part of the body and mind slowing down, and there are ways we can respond with love and patience. Cognitive changes might include increased confusion or memory loss that goes beyond typical aging. For example, your loved one might forget familiar names, repeat the same questions, or seem disoriented about where they are or what day it is. My father once asked me about a family event that had happened years ago as if it were yesterday, and it broke my heart to see him so confused. You might also notice difficulty with simple decisions, like choosing what to wear or trouble following conversations. These changes can be caused by the body's systems slowing down, or sometimes by conditions like dementia, which can progress more rapidly in the final year. Social withdrawal often goes hand in hand with this. Your loved one might stop wanting to see friends or family, skip activities they used to enjoy, or seem emotionally distant. My father, who loved our weekly card games, started saying he was too tired to play, and he'd sit quietly instead of joining in our laughter. This withdrawal can happen because they're feeling overwhelmed, or because they're inwardly preparing for the end, even if they don't say it. It's their way of conserving energy and finding peace, but it can feel isolating for us. So how can we help? First, be patient. Don't correct them if they're confused, just gently reassure them. If they forget something, say, "That's okay, let's talk about it," and share a memory to comfort them. Create a calm environment, reduce noise, keep routines simple, and avoid pushing them into social events if they're not up for it. Instead, offer quiet companionship. I'd sit with my father and just hold his hand while we listened to his favorite music. It made him feel connected without overwhelming him. You can also talk to their doctor about these changes, as they might suggest support like hospice care, which focuses on emotional and spiritual comfort. Let's explore the final sign: an increased need for medical care and symptom management. The third sign that an elderly person may be in their final year is an increased need for medical care and symptom management. This was something I noticed with my father as his health declined. He seemed to need more doctor visits, more medications, and more help managing his symptoms, and it became clear that his body was struggling to keep up. This sign can be a turning point, showing us that the focus needs to shift toward comfort and quality of life. And it's a time when we can step in with extra care to make their days as peaceful as possible. The third sign that an elderly person may be in their final year is an increased need for medical care and symptom management. This was something I noticed with my father as his health declined. He seemed to need more doctor visits, more medications, and more help managing his symptoms, and it became clear that his body was struggling to keep up. This sign can be a turning point, showing us that the focus needs to shift toward comfort and quality of life. And it's a time when we can step in with extra care to make their days as peaceful as possible. One key indicator is more frequent hospitalizations or doctor visits. Maybe they're having trouble breathing, experiencing pain that's hard to control, or dealing with infections that keep coming back. For my father, his heart condition worsened, and we were at the hospital every few weeks for tests or emergencies. You might also notice that chronic conditions, like diabetes, heart disease, or COPD, are getting harder to manage, even with treatment. Symptoms like swelling, shortness of breath, or digestive issues might become more severe, and they may need more medications to stay comfortable. I remember how my father's legs would swell, and he'd wince with pain even when sitting still. It was so hard to see. Another sign is when they start needing more help with daily activities because of these symptoms. They might struggle to eat, dress, or bathe on their own, or they may become bedbound for longer periods. My father needed help just to get to the bathroom, and we eventually brought in a home caregiver to assist. You might also notice they're sleeping more or seem less responsive as their body focuses energy on essential functions. This is often when hospice or palliative care becomes a consideration. These services focus on comfort rather than curing, helping manage pain and symptoms while supporting the family emotionally. What can we do? Start by talking to their doctor about palliative care or hospice options. These teams are amazing at helping everyone feel supported. Make sure their living space is safe and comfortable. Add grab bars, keep their bed cozy, and have their medications organized. I used a pill organizer for my father, and it made things so much easier. Be their advocate at doctor appointments, asking questions about how to ease their discomfort. And most importantly, listen to their wishes. If they want to stay home, honor that if you can. These steps can make a big difference. Let's wrap up with some ways to prepare and support your loved one during this time. We've covered a lot today, friends, and I hope this video has brought you some clarity and comfort as we discuss the signs that an elderly person may be in their final year. Let's recap the 3 key signs we explored. First, we talked about a significant decline in physical health and energy, like extreme fatigue, weight loss, or frequent illnesses, and how to respond with gentle care. Then we looked at changes in cognitive function and social withdrawal, such as confusion or pulling away from loved ones, and ways to offer quiet companionship. Finally, we discussed the increased need for medical care and symptom management, including more hospital visits and the role of palliative care in keeping them comfortable. Each of these signs is a signal to shift our focus toward love, comfort, and making every moment count. So, how can we prepare and support our loved ones or ourselves during this time? Start by having open, honest conversations. Ask them what they want in their final months. Maybe they'd like to hear their favorite stories or have family nearby. Create a plan with their doctor to ensure their needs are met, whether that's through hospice care or home support. Emotionally, make time for connection. Share memories, look through old photos, or just sit together in silence. I found that holding my father's hand and telling him I loved him brought us both so much peace. And don't forget to care for yourself. This journey can be heavy, so reach out to friends, a counselor, or a support group to share your feelings. You're not alone, and you deserve support too. I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know how you're preparing or what you've learned from this experience. I'll read everyone, and I'm here to support you. If this video touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up. It helps our Golden Years Unplugged community grow. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next video. We'll be sharing more ways to make your golden years meaningful. I want to leave you with this. You're doing an incredible job loving and caring for your loved one, and every moment you share is a gift. Hold them close, cherish the time you have, and know that I'm sending you so much love. You've got this, friends. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you